The Cup Series might be off this week, but that doesn't mean all of NASCAR is asleep, and in fact, the Truck Series, especially yesterday, delivered quite a bit of drama. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric, and welcome to Out of the Groove. Hope you guys are enjoying the off weekend of sorts. Hopefully you watched a little bit of the racing action yesterday, Sunday, with the Truck Series being rained out. Saturday, forced a Truck Series, Xfinity Series doubleheader at Iowa. I tried to watch as much of it as I could. I watched the Truck Series pretty much in its entirety. I didn't get to watch too much of the Xfinity Series, but luckily the Truck Series delivered a lot of the drama, a lot of the controversy, so that's what we're going to talk about mainly today. But before I get started, I want to thank each and every one of you for helping me reach 90,000 subscribers on this channel. I really appreciate it. Whenever I started this channel many years ago, I always hoped that it would kind of take off in some way, shape, or form and be successful, but I was a realist. I didn't think it was likely. And throughout the last almost 8 years now, gosh, the content on this channel has changed so much in that amount of time. So I've kept with the NASCAR motorsports racing theme, but if you've been with me since the beginning, you know that I've been making very different types of videos throughout the last several years. And I love what we're doing now. I love what Out of the Groove has become. I like what this channel is today, and I'm having more fun doing YouTube stuff these days than I ever have before. So I want to thank every single one of you who watched, especially those of you who subscribed, helping me reach this milestone. Road to 100,000. The fact that 100,000 is even a feasible number at this point is blowing my mind right now, but hopefully we can get there by the end of the year. Put that challenge on you guys. If you watch the videos, if you enjoy the channel, I encourage you to subscribe. I do these types of videos multiple times a week, every week, so if you're a NASCAR fan, you've come to the right place. But thank you guys so much for the long time support. I don't want to make this a long intro, long-winded thing or anything, but I did want to say thank you because it really means a lot. Anyway, back to talking about the Truck Series. I guess where should we start? There's a couple controversies yesterday. We'll go and start with the one that happened before the checkered flag, the one that happened, I guess, on the racetrack specifically. Johnny Sauter could be in trouble with the NASCAR police this week. I'll try to give you guys the full story here, but during yesterday's Truck Series race at Iowa, in the middle portions of that race, Johnny Sauter was battling with Austin Hill inside the top 10 for position. They made a little bit of contact right here. Sauter made a little contact with Hill, was able to make the pass, kind of not really a bump and run, but kind of a risky situation there. Then just a couple laps later, Austin Hill in the 16 ran up behind Sauter and basically spun him out. I'd like to say it was an accident, that he didn't mean to spin him entirely, but it looked kind of like it was on purpose. That brought out the caution and obviously damaged the heck out of Johnny Sauter's truck, but then during the caution flag, Johnny Sauter tracked down Austin Hill and drove right through him and T-boned him, put him in the wall, and basically damaged Hill's truck significantly. I think Austin Hill still managed to get a top 15 finish though, so he didn't total his truck or anything. But he got even, and NASCAR has made it clear in the past that they do not tolerate such shenanigans, especially under the yellow flag. Now immediately after Johnny Sauter retaliated here, NASCAR parked him for the remainder of the race. His truck was pretty damaged anyways. I'm not sure he would have been able to continue regardless, but NASCAR parked him, met with him in the hauler afterwards, and then NASCAR said after the race that any further penalties or possible suspensions, which we'll get to in a second, would likely be announced Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. So I guess tomorrow or later in the week. Now, of course, after the incident, NASCAR fans, drivers, other people involved with the sport took to Twitter, took to social media to share what they thought about this incident, whose side they were on, whether they thought it was too far or not. Regan Smith asked specifically for no suspensions, please. So he seems to think that, just boys have at it. He doesn't want NASCAR to drop the hammer on anyone here. However, Marcus Lemonis, who is the CEO, I believe, of Gander Outdoors, sponsor of the Truck Series, went a different direction. Totally unacceptable behavior. Run hard, turn hard, push the limit, but find the clear line between right and wrong. It was crossed. Not my call, and it's good that it's not. So, of course, both sides of the spectrum here. So now, going forward this week, NASCAR is going to have a decision to make. Should they suspend Johnny Sauter? I don't think it'll be more than one race. So let's say one race for those incidents at Iowa. Now, there is some precedence in this case. The big, most high-profile example that people can think of was when Kyle Busch in 2011 wrecked Ron Hornaday under caution in a truck race. He wrecked him on purpose. Now, it was a more dangerous wreck. They were going upwards of 150 miles an hour probably when the impact happened. It was a dangerous incident. I think in that case, NASCAR was really upset about the safety implications of that one. But of course, Hornaday was in the championship battle. Kyle Busch wasn't, racing for points, I don't think, in that race. So it definitely was bad on that front as well. So comparing that to Iowa, I would say is definitely a less extreme, a less dangerous example of that. But Kyle Busch was suspended. Actually, he was suspended a Cup race for the actions in the truck race that year. So with that precedent in mind, yeah, it's not too shocking if Johnny Sauter does get a suspension handed to him. Personally, I don't think a suspension is, too harsh of a penalty in this case. I think if NASCAR opts to go that route, they have every right to do so. I understand why Johnny Sauter was upset in the moment. Austin Hill just spun him out. He just got spun out really for a pretty minor reason. I mean, they were racing hard. Sauter made a little contact with them, but didn't really mess up Hill's race, really. So I thought, yes, Hill spinning Sauter was a little extreme. I think Sauter choosing to retaliate under caution like that was even more extreme and definitely unnecessary. You can't have drivers running each other down under caution when the whole field is stacked up with each other. You can't let that happen. That definitely needs to be a line that NASCAR draws in the sand and says, you cannot cross this line. And they have made that very clear in the past, that you should not cross that line and wreck each other under caution. So I would expect a penalty from NASCAR, but this is where things become more interesting, and I want to talk about this for a second. Johnny Sauter has a win this year and is currently locked into the Truck Series playoffs. However, with the way the rules are, you must compete in every single race on the schedule to be eligible for the playoffs. And obviously, if Johnny Sauter is suspended, say for next week or their next race, that would put that rule to the test. Now, we've seen that rule waived for some drivers in the past, kind of on a case-by-case scenario. Like Kyle Busch in 2015 was injured for the first 10 or 11 races of the Cup Series season. NASCAR granted him a playoffs waiver and allowed him to still qualify for the chase at the time if he met all the other qualifications, points and wins and everything. This is a different situation now. We have never been in this position where a guy could get suspended, and that's what hurts his playoff eligibility. Personally, what I would like to see NASCAR do is, sure, suspend Johnny Sauter for one race because you can't go around wrecking people under the caution flag. You cannot do that. That is a line that they've made it clear in the past you should not cross, so they should, suspend him for that. But I don't think he should lose his playoff eligibility. When he comes back from that suspension, he should still get the points that came from his win earlier in the year because he won that race completely legitimately. He should get to keep that win. He should get to keep the bonuses that come with it. I don't think this should hurt Johnny Sauter's playoff position, his playoff eligibility at all. I just think, hey, getting suspended for a race is tough for these Truck Series drivers. It hurts your pay, hurts your reputation, hurts sponsorship and everything. I think he would pay enough of a penalty there if he has to sit out a race. I think piling on by hurting his playoff eligibility and making it so he might not make the playoffs even, I think that's going a little bit too far. So that's where I stand on the issue, but I'd like to know what you guys all think. NASCAR has not come out yet and said what the penalty will be, but when they do later this week, I'll probably talk about it in an episode. But yeah, so expect that announcement tomorrow or Wednesday, whether or not Johnny Sauter will be suspended, how his playoff eligibility could be affected. But let me know down in the comments. Do you guys want to see him suspended? Do you care? Do you not care? Do you want him to miss the playoffs? How extreme did you think that incident Sunday was? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Now, that was not the only controversy from this Truck Series race. I mentioned Ross Chastain a minute ago. Remember a couple weeks ago, he announced he was changing from Xfinity to Truck Series points, but that meant he had to start at 0, which meant he needed to find a way to get him inside the top 20 in points between now and the end of the regular season, and he also had to win a race to lock himself in. Now, the points thing, I think everyone knew he's probably going to make it into the top 20, not that big a deal. He's been one of the most consistent drivers all season in that series. That shouldn't be a problem, but getting that win, he's still driving for an average team at Nice Motorsports over there. Getting the win could have been the hard part. But Ross Chastain yesterday dominated. In the Truck Series race, he won Stage 1, he won Stage 2, and then he won the race. Ross Chastain, nobody could touch him in that 45 truck, and he got the win, basically erased any sense of suspense, and locked himself into the playoffs yesterday afternoon. But then, remember NASCAR this year, they're doing post-race inspection at the track. About an hour and a half after Chastain was initially announced as the winner, victory lane celebrations, interviews, all that, NASCAR announced that Chastain's car was too low. The front end was too low, and he had failed post-race inspection, and they had then given the win to Brett Moffitt. Because per the rules this year, NASCAR does not encumber wins anymore. No. If you fail post-race inspection, you are awarded last place points, and second place is awarded the win. So Brett Moffitt gets credit for the win. He gets all the points, all the earnings, the $50,000 Triple Truck Challenge bonus that comes with it. Chastain gets none of that. He ended up with last place points. He doesn't get to keep any of the stage points, any of the playoff points he earned yesterday, and as a result, he is still finding himself in a position where he has to win another race here in the last, I think, 6 events to make the playoffs. It was a roller coaster of emotions. Ross Chastain has become quite the fan favorite, I would say, in the last year or two, and this is just another gut punch in the saga of Ross Chastain, the Watermelon Man. He calls himself the busiest driver in NASCAR, and he is. He's basically running almost a full-time Truck, Xfinity, and Cup schedule. I think he deserves the crown as the unluckiest man in NASCAR. Because this dude's had to work really hard to get some of these opportunities, and whether it's his sponsor, filing for bankruptcy last year, whether it's, his team, the truck, not being set up within parameters and having a win erased, just a lot of bad luck for Ross Chastain. Now, going forward, what does this mean? Well, Nice Motorsports, the team that Chastain drove for, the team that was ultimately penalized penalized here, they are appealing the penalty. They do not believe that they did anything wrong, that the wrongdoing, the low front end, was not of their doing. They claim that there was some damage sustained during the race that caused the truck to fail to meet qualifications because they passed pre-race inspection. Now, we've seen that plenty of times in the past where teams, Cup Series, Xfinity Series, where teams will pass pre-race inspection but fail post-race inspection. One issue NASCAR has had in the past, I know, is that some teams will intentionally manufacture parts that will break throughout the course of a race that would help give them an advantage somewhere. So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and assume that Nice Motorsports knowingly did anything wrong. I'm not going to sit here and assume that they didn't knowingly do anything wrong either. NASCAR is going to go through the appeals process. They're going to look at video, I guess. They're going to review everything. I think the penalty will be upheld, though. I don't think NASCAR is going to reverse the penalty. I think Chastain is going to lose the win and is going to still have to win another race here in the next couple months. But really, it's just too bad. I really feel bad for Ross Chastain here. I'm a fan here. I like Ross Chastain a lot. I like that he's kind of really had to earn every ride, every opportunity he's gotten. That Chip Ganassi ride in the Xfinity Series last year, he had to earn that, and he did. He's earned everything completely legitimately on his own merit, and I think he deserves to find some success in NASCAR, and it's a shame that kind of these just bad situations keep coming his way. He's still got a few races to go. I think there's a very good chance he wins another race. I didn't think he'd run that well at Iowa this week. I thought, that team would run better at the big tracks where they could help, the draft would help them out a little bit more. I didn't expect him to do well on a shorter track like that, but I still think Ross Chastain has a good chance of making the playoffs, but man, that's a real gut punch right there. And it could get worse. There's a chance this week that NASCAR could add even... And it could get worse, actually. There's a chance this week that NASCAR will further the penalties and actually maybe deduct more points from Chastain and that team. I don't know that they're going to do so. I doubt it. But we'll see how the appeals process goes. Maybe this gets reversed. Maybe they give Chastain the win. Maybe they deem that the penalty was not of the team's doing or that the infraction was not of the team's doing. I'd be skeptical. I really don't think they're going to reverse something as heavy as that. So I wouldn't expect Chastain to get the win back, but... I don't know, he's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and win another race. It's kind of funny, Chastain's basically won 2 races this year in the Truck Series, and neither one of them is going to count towards his playoff run, so... Goodness. Talk about bad luck. Talk about bad timing. Anyway, though, those are the 2 big controversies from yesterday. Let me know what you guys think, especially about that Sauter Austin Hill incident. I'd be curious to know. But yeah, today a Truck Series episode, a specialized Truck Series out of the groove. I guess that's kind of fun. Don't do that too often, but hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. Remember to subscribe. Thanks again for 90,000 subscribers, this close to 100,000. If we make that final push, that plaque would look really... Well, I guess I'm using a green screen right now. Well, I'll have a real studio again soon, and that silver play button would look really nice, prominently featured in the Out of the Groove background, but no, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for the support, and of course, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Michael Harrison, at You As The Stars, Mentally Defective, Cameron James, John Koblenz, Jason R. Long, Wesley Donaldson, Isaac Dennison, Mika Suzuki, iFantasyRace.com, TheRacingInsiders.com, Adam Lean, Matthew Koulopoulos, Pepe Luscious, and the rest of these incredible Patreon supporters. I couldn't do this without the support I get from you guys. Thank you so much for continuing to help this show grow. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you. More episodes this week leading into the Sonoma, the new look Sonoma for this Sunday for the Cup Series. So we got a lot to talk about this week. I'll have some more episodes here in the next few days. But thank you guys so much for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed. Leave your comments down below. Tweet at me your opinions on all this stuff. I like reading through all that. And yeah, I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a good start to your week.